Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to do another clean, beautiful face, and the brand of focus today is with KOSAS Beauty. Now KOSAS Beauty have been out for quite some time and I've never really gotten around into trying it. I was intrigued when Tati reviewed the 30-second face oil kind of thing, which is one of the products that they came out first. So I decided to purchase a bunch of products that will enable me to create a full face. I did not get all of the products from KOSAS Beauty because the brand is relatively very expensive. It's more expensive than Juice Beauty. So I only bought the foundation, concealer, the contour cream duo, and a lip balm. I know that they came out with a lip oil. Unfortunately, the shade that I really wanted to purchase is not available, so I opted for a lip balm because I could always use a lip balm on hand. So without further ado, let's hop right into the video. This is going to be a wear test as well because I really wanted to see how the foundation will last on my oily skin. So I zoomed you guys in for you to be able to see what's up. So I've noted down information about this brand. So the first one being is the KOSAS tinted face oil, which got the internet shook for quite some time and it kind of died down. So this is a vegan foundation that offers medium buildable coverage. It is infused with hydrating mineral pigments and botanical oils to instantly minimize pores, blur imperfections while working to improve skin health. This foundation comes in 16 shades, which is not a lot, but they do have a good selection from light to dark. I wouldn't say they have the best for deeper skin tone, but for the most part, they pretty much covered the whole spectrum. And this one retails for $74 New Zealand, which is a lot for this tiny thing. It says to shake well before applying, and I did see a review before that a lot of people use their hand to apply this because it's so watery. Formulation kind of reminds me of the Juice Beauty foundation where it's very watery. This is what the packaging looks like. It comes in this very sleek white packaging. The only thing I don't like is it's a little bit squished. I don't know if that's how the packaging is supposed to look like. So as you can see, the formula is very runny and I don't want this to get everywhere. The shade that I have is in tone 6. So what I'm going to do is to use a brush. Oh, I should have gotten the shade that is a little bit darker than this because it kind of makes me look pale, and because it's a tinted oil, it won't give you a lot of coverage. And the foundation brush is great in evening out the application, though I could see a little bit of brush strokes. So I think I am going to try and apply it with my beauty blender. So I'm just gonna do that and spread the product out with my brush. It smells pretty clean. So it offers a buildable coverage, and for an everyday wear, I feel like I could get away with wearing just this much layer because my skin has been doing great recently and I find that I don't really need to do a lot of covering, but for the sake of this video we are going to try and build it up. Based my shade on the swatches they had online, but I feel like shade 6 is a little bit too light for me still and the undertone is a little bit off. It kind of gave me the same feeling as the Juice Beauty where the description of the shade looks darker, but actually in reality it's still pretty light on my skin tone. So I'm going with another layer and I'm going to use my sponge for this, and that's a pretty good coverage. I'm not liking how pale I'm looking at the moment. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin. It gives me a very radiant finish. because it's an oil, and I did make the right decision of not wearing a primer because it pretty much glided on my skin very smoothly. It did cover my pores and even out the textures that I have. So now I'm going to move on to the concealer. The concealer retails for $49 and it also has 16 shades, and it is a vegan concealer. It gives a medium to full coverage. It conceals dark circles and blemishes. It gives a radiant finish. Now, I did look up a lot of reviews about this concealer, and a lot of people are saying that it runs very yellow. I got the shade 05, which is one shade up from my foundation, and this is what it looks like. You've already seen this, and it does look yellow, but against my skin tone I don't mind it because I do have a pretty strong yellow undertone. And the applicator is pretty flexible, and I saw Jamie Page's review on this concealer. She said that you only need a tiny bit because it can get cakey and very thick on the under eye area. So if you compare this side of my eyes to this side, it definitely brightened my under eye, and I'm pleased that I got shade 5 because I don't want my concealer to be super duper bright. This concealer definitely gives you a full medium coverage because typically when I apply concealer I would still have a little bit of like darkness on this side of my eye, but after applying that much, I find that it instantly brightened my eyes without making it look too white looking and ashy. I think I'm going to go for another layer. And the true test on this concealer is how long it's going to last on my skin, because I find that typically concealers do crease on my under eye immediately, especially if it has like a very creamy formula. So I'm going to just set my under eye area because I have a cream, blush and highlight to use. For bronzer slash blush and highlight, I'm just gonna use it all as one. This is the Color and Light Cream palette. Again, it comes in this white packaging, which I absolutely love, and it's very clean. So this is what packaging looks like. It's very sleek. It has the KOSAS logo. Also, it doesn't feel cheap, but it is made of plastic. It kind of reminds me of the NARS packaging, except for that velvet feel. This is what it looks like, and it's a nice warm tone bronzer. So I'm swatching the highlighter, and it doesn't really show up on my skin. If anything, it kind of looks more as a wet glow, if you can see down here, as opposed to it being like that beaming lighting. And the bronzer is a little bit too peachy against my skin tone. I wouldn't call this a bronzer because it looks more like a blush, which is that one right there, which you can hardly see against my skin tone. So this is going to be interesting on how it's going to apply on my skin. I am going to use the foundation brush that I used before, and I'm going to dip into the bronzer. Oh no, this is more of a blush on my skin tone. And it's kind of lifting the foundation as well. No, it doesn't show up on my skin that well. And this retails for $60 New Zealand. So I feel like if you have more of a paler skin tone, this would work for you as a bronzer. But since I have more of a medium tan skin tone, it looks more like a blush on my skin tone as opposed to it being a bronzer. Oh, this is a bummer. I really hope that this is going to work on my skin tone, because I have seen a few people with like medium dark skin tone use this as a bronzer, and it definitely looks beautiful on them. But for me, it doesn't show up one bit. I am going to continue to use this product because I paid money for this and it's so much money. I feel like the Well People, which is like half the price of this, the cream bronzer works a lot better and it has that right bronzy tone as opposed to this one, because this is a little bit more peachy against my skin tone. And the highlighter, I don't even know if it's going to show up, but we're just gonna have to apply it. So I'm going to use my sponge and dab a little bit of that. Wow, that looks more like Vaseline on my skin. Like I'm not hating on the product, I'm just hating how it applies on my skin. Like it looks real pretty on the pan, but on my face it is so light. So I will do the rest of my face and I'll come back and do the lips because this is just not cutting it for me and I'm truly disappointed. But we're here for the review of these two mainly, and the rest are just add-ons. So I'll just quickly finish up the rest of my face, powder, bronze it up, and maybe apply a little bit of the highlight on top of everything else, and we'll go straight to the lip. This palette duo right here, the cream version, feel like it would be great as a base because in person I look a little bit more blushed and bronzed, whereas on the camera it looks a little bit washed out. So I kind of forgive this duo for that. And also, like as you can see, the glow is still there once I've set it. However, the concealer is doing a really bad thing underneath my eyes. I did apply a teeny tiny bit and maybe a little bit more on this area where I have a lot of darkness, and it started to crease on my under eye, and my under eye looks so cakey and dry. I don't know if you can see it, but this side right here has got like a major crease, as well as this side, which I typically don't get. And also there's like a buildup of concealer in here and a little bit of powder, which is not my favorite. Hopefully throughout the day it can be fixed, but at the moment it's like not looking good, and also it looks pretty uneven. I don't like this concealer. It just sucks because there's so much people that rave about this concealer, but it doesn't actually work for me. And moving on to the lips, I have this Kosis Sport lip balm, and this has got wild mint that stimulates senses to increase mental agility, protective because it has a cognac root that creates a gel-like protective to keep the barrier between the lips and the environment, and it also has hyaluronic acid that attracts water and locks hydration, while vitamin E smooth repairs and plumps. This product right here looks a lot bigger on the website than in person, so this is just like a normal lip balm. The packaging kind of reminds me of the Palmer's lip balm, the coconut lip balm in this type of flat packaging. This comes in 3 shades. They have the translucent. This one is in the shade Rush, which is more of that pinky shade, and they have a darker one which is more maroon-ish kind of shade, and this retails for $34. This is not a cheap lip balm, and it smells minty. However, I find that the dip in the middle is a little bit uncomfortable because it doesn't help with the even application of the lip balm. So this is what it looks like. Obviously it doesn't have a lot of tint to it because it's a lip balm, but it's still a nice everyday product if you just want like a little bit of something but not too much, which I typically go for because I'm kind of over applying lipsticks. Here is my full face of Kosis Beauty. For now, I wanted to do a wear test mainly on the concealer and the foundation to see how well it will last on my oily skin. The time right now is 10:45 a.m. so I will check back with you later on to see how everything wears, and I will give you my final thoughts at the end of the day. After filming the video, my under eye looked so atrocious, and I feel like instead of it brightening up my eyes, it made my eyes look even more tired. So what I did was I applied a little bit of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Radiant Light just to kind of cover that roughness that I have underneath my eye. It kind of made it look a little bit better, but still, as you can see, it still looks pretty cakey. But overall, my face looks pretty radiant and hydrated, and yeah, we'll see how this wears. But this is what my face looks like in natural lighting. Hi beautiful, it's finally the end of the day and the time right now is 6 p.m. and I just got home from our afternoon walk, and this is what my face is currently looking like. I have to say that I actually look quite oily, but my skin has looked like this since the last time I checked in. The foundation itself did not claim to be long lasting or long wearing, but to my surprise it did a good job in coverage and also longevity, though I could see that it starts to wear off around the nose area, which is the oiliest part of my face. Forehead itself is not too bad, and I actually blotted probably twice in between check-ins because I kind of hated the way it looked. But then again, it's not the type of oily where it's very heavy and filmy. The concealer is creased, but as it wore throughout the day, it kind of seeped into the skin and my oil melted the cakiness, and it lasted pretty good. The only problem that I have is that it's marketed as a brightening concealer, but on me it kind of made me look tired even more, so I feel like that's my least favorite product. The the bronzer and highlight duo is fine, though the bronzer itself looks a lot more like a blush on my skin tone. If they came out with another shade that caters for deeper skin tone, I feel like that would be perfect. But other than that, for an everyday flush of color, I feel like it's a good product. The lip balm, I do love it, though I kind of hate the bit that it has on the actual product. Like, I get how they designed it, so then like this dip right here would hug your lips, but I find that quite uncomfortable, especially because I have quite a small lip, so it doesn't really hug my lips and I find that it goes over my lip line. I feel like I am going to get a lot of use out of the foundation, especially for everyday or if I have to go to work and do a short shift, because I really do love how it sets. I could definitely use a more mattifying powder to set the face, but I love how it sits on my skin without using a primer. I feel like that would be the best bet. Concealer, I would probably use it in the future to spot conceal or to correct my foundation, but in terms of like using it as an under eye concealer, I would probably have to mix it in with another concealer, or maybe I still have to work my way around the formula because it's a little bit tricky. The only con that I could really find is the price. It's overly expensive and it's a given for vegan product. I do appreciate that it's a clean beauty brand. Another good thing is it is available in New Zealand. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please let me know if there's other videos that you wanted me to do. Stay safe and I will catch you on the next video. Bye!